Judge temporarily blocks Abrego Garcia's deportation. Immigration battles in the United States continue to intensify, with recent legal decisions and enforcement actions shaping the future of thousands of immigrants. From courtroom rulings to controversial detentions, the fight over deportation policies remains at the center of national debate. If you are interested in this topic, please pay attention and watch the video through to the end to get all the information. Please hit like and subscribe, and don't forget to push the notification bell for an upcoming video. A federal judge temporarily blocked the U.S. government from deporting Kilmar Abrego Garcia to another country after immigration officers took him into custody at check-in this morning. The government brought Mr. Abrego Garcia back to the U.S. after mistakenly deporting him to a notorious prison in El Salvador in March, and has since charged him with human trafficking. U.S. authorities told Mr. Abrego Garcia he may be deported to Uganda following his refusal to accept a plea deal, his lawyers say. Mr. Abrego Garcia filed a new federal lawsuit challenging his current detention and potential deportation to Uganda or any other country until he has a trial. At Tuesday's hearing, U.S. District Judge Paula Zines said she was barring the government from deporting Mr. Abrego Garcia until she could hold a hearing on the matter. She also raised questions about the government's intention to deport him to Uganda. She said the U.S. failed to demonstrate that Mr. Abrego Garcia would not face harm if deported to Uganda. The judge also expressed concerns that the government would send him to a country where he had no connections, should he not plead guilty to criminal charges. It is in my view plain that you can't do that, Judge Zines said. You can't condition the relinquishment of constitutional rights in that regard. You'd never get a knowing and voluntary guilty plea out anyone if you do that, she said. 2 existing court orders bar the government from deporting him from the continental U.S. until Wednesday afternoon. My understanding is that removal is not imminent, Government Attorney Drew Ensign told Judge Zines. He noted that third country removal takes some time. Judge Zines told Mr. Ensign that the Trump administration was absolutely forbidden to remove Mr. Abrego Garcia while those orders were in effect. ICE is currently holding Mr. Abrego Garcia at a facility in the state of Virginia. His attorney Simon Sandoval-Maschenberg told Judge Zines he asked that the judge order his client remain detained within 200 miles of the court in order to ensure he had swift access to his legal proceedings. Judge Zines asked both parties to submit briefs this week ahead of a potential hearing. She is the same jurist who oversaw the initial lawsuit over Mr. Abrego Garcia's mistaken deportation to El Salvador. On Monday morning, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement took Mr. Abrego Garcia into custody after summoning him to a mandatory immigration meeting in Baltimore. Before going inside, Mr. Abrego Garcia addressed a crowd of supporters and protesters gathered outside the building. "Brothers and sisters, my name is Kilmar Abrego Garcia," he said, "and I always want you to remember that today I can say with pride that I am free and have been reunited with my family." He was back in custody shortly after. In a statement, Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem confirmed his arrest and said that ICE are processing him for deportation. In a subsequent post on X, the Department of Homeland Security said he will be processed for removal to Uganda. The Trump administration spent much of the day alleging Mr. Abrego Garcia was a criminal as justification for his latest action. The official White House X account posted an stylized image of Mr. Abrego Garcia with the slogan MS-13 appearing in bold letters beneath his face. In a statement, Ms. Noem alleged Mr. Abrego Garcia was guilty of human trafficking and domestic abuse. President Donald Trump would not allow him to terrorize American citizens any longer, she said. Mr. Abrego Garcia's legal team accuses the U.S. of trying to coerce him to plead guilty by threatening to redeport him halfway across the world. The only reason that they've chosen to take him into detention is to punish him for exercising his constitutional rights, Mr. Sandoval-Maschenberg told reporters outside the IC office. A subsequent court order barred the government from removing Mr. Abrego Garcia from the continental United States or altering his legal status until 1600 hours Wednesday, unless a judge extends the order. His lawyers said their client declined an offer to plead guilty to human smuggling charges in exchange for deportation to Costa Rica. He was asked to check in on Monday at the field office in Baltimore. During the interview, Mr. Sandoval Maschenberg said IC officers had taken Mr. Abrego Garcia into custody with no explanation. An officer told the attorneys he would be taken to a detention center, but would not specify which one. His attorney argued there was no reason to detain Mr. Abrego Garcia, as he was under ankle monitoring and basically on house arrest. The U.S. reached bilateral deportation agreements with Honduras and Uganda as part of the Trump crackdown on illegal immigration. Uganda's Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced last Thursday that it had reached a temporary agreement with the United States with respect to third country nationals who may not be granted asylum in the United States, but are reluctant to or may have concerns about returning to their countries of origin. However, Uganda stated a preference to take individuals from African countries and said it would not take individuals with criminal records or unaccompanied minors. The saga of Mr. Abrego Garcia's deportation case has been in the news since March, when he was deported to his native El Salvador despite a court order blocking such action, and initially kept in a notorious Secote prison. But after U.S. government officials acknowledged he was deported due to an administrative error, a judge ordered the administration to facilitate his return. He was sent to Tennessee, where he was charged in a human smuggling scheme and detained until his release on Friday after ruling by a federal judge. Mr. Abrego Garcia has pleaded not guilty to the charges. ICE detains mom in green card application process after over 30 years in U.S. A Thai woman who has lived in the United States for 30 years now faces potential deportation after Immigration and Customs Enforcement detained her in Alaska earlier this month. Achiri Bunto, 42, is in the process of obtaining her green card or legal permanent residency, per her family, who started a GoFundMe page to support her. ICE's detainee locator showed Bunto was being held at the Northwest Detention Center in Washington State as of Monday morning. Why it matters. Bunto's arrest comes amid a flurry of green card applicants also being detained by officials, as the White House cracks down on alleged immigration law violations. Many of the cases have sparked outrage in communities across the country, as several of those arrested have been living in the U.S. without incident for several decades. What to know? Bunto moved to the U.S. from Thailand age 11 for the GoFundMe, first living in Alabama before ending up in Fairbanks, Alaska, where her mother opened a restaurant that is still open today. While in Alabama, Bunto's mother, Visini Bunnag, got her green card, but did not obtain one for her daughter. At age 18, Bunto had a baby with and married a U.S. citizen. The pair had 4 more children before separating. A few years later, Bunto met her second husband, with whom she had another child. Bunto's ex-husband passed away in Alabama a few weeks ago, with his and Bunto's children flying in to say goodbye to him. Just a few days later, on August 7th, their mother was detained by ICE. Per the GoFundMe page, agents pulled Bunto over while she was on an errand for her mother in Fairbanks. The agents took her out of her vehicle and laughed at her, her family claimed. Bunto was in the process of applying for a green card, but immigration attorneys have reportedly been wary of her case because of a 2015 felony conviction in which she pleaded guilty to falsely claiming U.S. citizenship on Alaska Permanent Fund dividend applications, per the Fairbanks Daily News Miner. President Donald Trump's administration taken a tougher stance on immigrants seeking green cards or citizenship if they have had previous convictions or been flagged as possible immigration law violators. On Saturday, with Bunto still in IC detention in Tacoma, Washington, locals held a rally calling for her release. What people are saying. Achiri Bunto, speaking to the Fairbanks Daily News Miner via phone, "It felt like I was getting kidnapped or something. I didn't know what was going on. They didn't identify themselves until they got me in handcuffs and into the truck. They wouldn't let me call my mom or my lawyer until I got to FCC." Jayla Sims, one of Bunto's daughters, on the GoFundMe page. They then took her to jail, locked her up. From there, they sent her to Anchorage. From there, Tacoma, where she will sit and wait for money to pay to get out of detainment. Wait for a judge to tell her she's worthy to be an American citizen or not. And if he deems her not worthy, she will be sent back to a country in which she has not lived since she was 11 years old. What's next? It was not immediately clear what the next steps were for Bunto as of Monday morning, but her family said they were concerned she would be deported back to Thailand. Trump can end deportation protections for 60,000 immigrants. End temporary deportation protections. Trump can end deportation protections for 60,000 immigrants, appeals court says. A federal appeals court on Wednesday cleared the way for President Donald Trump's administration to end temporary deportation protections and cancel work permits for more than 60,000 immigrants from Central America and Nepal. The ruling by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit allows the government to end temporary protected status for immigrants from Nicaragua, Honduras, and Nepal while a court challenge to that policy plays out. The 3 judges who signed the order did not provide legal reasoning. The order immediately ends protections for Nepalis, which expired on August 5th. Protections for Hondurans and Nicaraguans will expire on September 8th. U.S. Department of Homeland Security spokeswoman Tricia McLaughlin said in a statement that the decision will help restore integrity to the immigration system and stop temporary protected status from being used as a de facto asylum system. U.S. District Judge Trina L. Thompson had temporarily blocked the administration from canceling protections in a sharply worded ruling in July, where she found the government's decision was likely motivated by racial animus. As these cases unfold, the video highlight the uncertainty many immigrant families face under shifting legal and political landscapes. The coming weeks will determine not only individual fates, but also the broader direction of U.S. immigration policy. That is all for today in this video. What are your thoughts on this? Please let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching the entire video. Hopefully, the information is useful to you. See you later in the next video. Till then, take care.
Just temporary blocks abroad Georgia deportations. A federal judge has temporarily held by the deportations of the surveillance immigrant schemer across Georgia, who has mistakenly dropped the El Salvador. Earlier, this is the dispute of the court order. After this return, he has the charges of the human trafficking, but the pled not guilty. His atrocious argue and the government has using deportation threats of the agenda. The country with the while has no connections to the pressure him to into guilty pleas. Just Polia Exine questioned the legally and the safety of the such as the transfer imposes the construction's rights cannot be the conditional to the convictions. ICE is holding him the Virginia while their deportation to the block unit in the last Wednesday. This video highlighting the Trump administration wide the deportations push, including the argument with the other countries like the Uganda. Separately, the ICE determined they are immigrants attached to the British during the green card process, sparking the protests. Meanwhile, the federal appeal court cleared the administration and the end temporary protected state for the 60,000 immigrants from the Nepal, Nigeria and Honduras. Dispute earlier ruling questioning its legally.